Today on the channel, I'm going to show you how to play the song Wanted Man by Ratt. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to play the song Wanted Man by Ratt. This is a great song from the 80s and I love Ratt. Warren DeMartini is one of my favorite guitar players. I grew up in the 80s learning these riffs, trying to learn these riffs and figuring stuff out, and all these years later I'm still doing it, and wanted to share the song with you today. The song is tuned to E flat, well, kind of a quarter step below E. I think that a lot of these guitar players copied Eddie Van Halen because Eddie tuned a quarter step low, and I think they figured that was the magic sauce. So I'm tuned to standard just for simplicity, so everybody doesn't have to get their panties in a bunch about tunings today. So I'm just standard tuning. The song is in E, and I'm just tuned to standard here. Now I'm going to show you the main verse parts, the chorus parts, the intro. I'm going to give you some ideas about soloing techniques regarding the solo, because it modulates between major, minor, and some mixolydian stuff. I'm going to show that to you, and there's also a modulation in the middle of the song before the guitar solo, so we're going to cover all that. So let's begin. The song basically starts off with an intro that repeats itself throughout the chorus, and except the intro starts off with three low E's like that, okay, and the bass rides that low E out while they're going like that, okay. So what we're doing there is E to D, and then an A to a C. These are 5 chords. There's not really any major thirds in it except for that A. You got that A. You can definitely tell it's an A major in there. So okay, one more time. It's the E5 to a D, 5, A, C5, hit that low E again, G, A, C5. Now that G chord's kind of cool. It's like this. Now if you don't know that chord, that's a great chord to know, because a lot of times down here on the E you can play this E like. So that's kind of what they're doing. Like a lot of times you hear these sus4 chords, like in Van Halen songs, you know, in Ratt and Poison and all this stuff. But you can also go, instead of doing a sus4, you can turn it into the 4 chord. Like that's an E and that's an A, that's a D, that's a G, a C, an F. So that was a trick in the 80s, that chord. So once again, one thing that Warren did, and a lot of these guys in the 80s, they'd take these chords and they'd put like some stank on it, some like vibrato. If you notice, I kind of do it without even thinking about it. If you add a little bit too much, it kind of overdoes it. I'm just exaggerating right now. It sounds great though. Okay, so that's the intro and also the choruses. Okay, now for the verses, he kind of has this clean sound. I roll back. I've got this really dirty, Friedman sound going on right now. But if I roll back and I've got this guitar set up with a single coil, I can get really nice tones like that. I could do humbucker also. Roll back a little bit more. But since I've got this guitar equipped with a single coil, I'm going to play it here. So the verse goes. Okay, that's the first part of the verse. So what we're doing there is that's an A minor add 2. So what I'm doing here is this. It's like an A minor. I got to open A string in these on the 7th and the 5th fret on the D and G, then open B and E. And I'm going to play a G major with an A, and the sympathetic B and E strings open. And then right there's a version of the G chord again, which is a 5 and a 7 on the D and the G. And the low A is a drone. Then we're going to go back up to an A. Believe it or not, that's an A. So it resolves. So it's A minor 2, a G major with an A in the bass, inversion of the G chord, back up to A. All right. What makes this sound good is this low A drone, and the B and the E string are sympathetic, meaning they ride without. All right, and then halfway through the verse, he kicks back in. He doesn't do all these sympathetic notes like that. He goes just the low notes. Now there's this really interesting chord. It's a G with a B on the bass. So it's like this G chord I showed you here earlier, but we're going to take this finger and remove it and put it on a B. I think what they're doing, the guitar, I think, is playing a G, and the bass hits that B, because the B is the 5 of E, so the progression needed to stay with that G to make it sound nice and minory, but they put a B over it, so it's a polychord. It's a B minor polychord, whatever it is. I can't think of it right now. So once again, the very ending, when they chug, the bass, one guitar can just go, and the bass plays on that B, and the other guy. If you want to do it by yourself, you can just pointer finger and put your ring finger and your middle finger on these notes here on the 8th and 7th. And then it goes back quiet. Then does it again. Awesome. So that's the intro, the verse, and the chorus part, okay? Now, before the guitar solo, they go into a bridge, and they play the same exact riff as the intro, but they bring it up 2 frets. Just once, and they go back. Original key. I think Steven says, "It's really what you want to be," or something like that. But they only go through that passage once. Okay? And then they go to the guitar solo. Now the guitar solo switches. This is kind of an E minor vibe. E minor, A minor vibe. During the verses, okay, and the chorus, it's totally a minor key. But in the guitar solo, which is very typical of Warren's playing, Warren likes to mess around with major, minor, and I took a lot from him in my soloing. I really didn't realize it until many years later. I'm like, wow, I really stole a lot, tried to, from Warren DeMartini subconsciously. So what I mean by that is during the After it does that key change, it goes back into one more passage of the standard chorus riff, and it goes into this guitar solo. Now the guitar solo goes to C sharp minor chord, A, B, C sharp minor, A, F sharp, and it rides on that E, and you go back in. So during that solo, he's going to play E major pentatonic, and then when he's going to come out of it, he's going to mess around with E mixolydian, and he plays a lot of E minor in there too. So what I'm talking about is first of all the C sharp minor to an A to a B. All that has a very major tonality because you can hear it go back to E major. So, and then when he goes to this F sharp, you feel the tides turning. Okay, so the C sharp minor is when he's in E major pentatonic. So on this, if you take the standard pentatonic box, which is nothing wrong with that, okay, and I'm sure that's what a lot of what he did in this. If you take this standard minor pentatonic box and start on the 9th fret, that's a C sharp minor pentatonic, which is also E major. So when you're playing the be like, you can do all that kind of stuff, right? And then when he comes out the second time on this F sharp. Then you can do this mixolydian thing, which is E minor pentatonic, but add a major third in it. What makes it sound really cool is the D, which is the flat 7 in E minor. That's essential to make that part sound cool. Those D's. Then you can go. After you mess around with that mixolydian thing for a little bit, then switch to minor. Something like that. So major for the first part of the solo, when he gets out with the F sharp to the E, play around with the mixolydian, and then come out of that mixolydian to just minor. Because Steven's going to come back in with that minor melody. So you can't be toying around with mixolydian stuff when it kicks into the chorus because they won't blend. But you've got that little window as a lead guitar player to show off and make yourself sound cool. And that's what made those 80s guys sound fantastic, is they modulated a lot during the guitar solos. And it's not that I mean, some of them, granted, played outstanding, obviously, and they had great feel and vibe, but they understood how to mess around with different tonalities and seeking different notes within just your pentatonic and major and minor scales to kind of, you know, spice it up a little bit and then develop their own style around that type of music. And, you know, playing in a band and gig after gig and recording, and they finally, you know, find themselves, and the good players, obviously the cream rises to the top. So hope that made sense. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, please comment below. Please consider subscribing, and as always, have a great day. Peace out.